right. It says we're live. We did it.
Yay!
Hi.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. We are in the house. I am Sharon Sananda Kumara, your host from Ascension Gateway, and I have Robin and Andy with me tonight. Hey, everyone. Thanks for
Hello.
being here. And we've got lots to share with our galactic updates. So thank you that are watching. Thank you for being here. And feel free to chime in. I know you always do. And we'll do some card readings at the end of our sharing. Okay. So let's just introduce ourselves a little bit. For those that are watching that don't know me, I am Sharon Sananda Kumara, and I live in the great Northwest. And I love it here. It's so pretty here. And I do have a practice as a psychic medium, hypnotherapist channel. Well, I founded the academy, Kumara Academy, where I teach courses on all kinds of cool stuff. And I'm in the middle of a automatic writing and channeling course right now. And I've been a contactee since childhood. Didn't remember it until after my NDE in 2001, when all the memories started coming in and just blew my mind. And so I've been communicating with with ultra dimensional beings ever since, and just loving life. And I see so much going on that's helping us to move into the higher planes. So we're all here to connect and help each other and remember our true selves and remember our brothers and sisters in the cosmos as well. Okay.
Yeah.
A little bit about me. Robin, do you mind going next?
Yes, I'm Robin Hyatt, and I have a YouTube channel called The Blue Star, and I'm a channeler, and I've been doing that for several years. I started out as pretty much as a psychic. I worked on cold cases, and then had an apparition of a white Sasquatch come give me beautiful messages, and I started writing them down, and I realized I could not keep this to myself. And so I started my YouTube channel to tell the people of what this Sasquatch said to me. And then the Sasquatch said, do you want to stay, working for the dead or working with the living? And I chose to start working with the living. So I started to do the channeling and doing psychic sessions and writing books. And my life is just so evolved. It's just so amazing when I found my niche of really who I was. And went with it. My life just keeps getting better and better and better every year. And it's just, there's just so much to learn. You just can't grasp it all. And then things are moving quickly. They're moving quickly, not only in the United States, which we're seeing good and evil. It's almost, there's no gray anymore. We're kind of one way or another. And then, and the light is shining on the darkness. And it's breaking it and it's exposing it. And that is amazing. So we're doing it, you guys. We are really doing it.
Yes, we are. Thank you, Robin. Andy, my friend.
Yeah, my name's Andy. I'm an experiencer, contactee, had two near-death experiences, and then also have had some out-of-body experiences. And essentially my path to remembering and awakening, and to the fact that I'm not a human being on Earth, but I'm really a multidimensional being having a human experience. And I'm here to try to positively influence things. I really believe that was my ultimate, being on the other side, I wanted to help. And also this is a training. This is a training program on some level for our higher oversouls, because we're divine. We're all infinite, and we came here to face challenges, so that we would really be able to reconnect to the divinity within us. And I'm grateful because I've gotten to meet such amazing people like Sharon and Robin and so many people in the community. And I just love that, I part of my life, like everyone, I'm still paying bills and have a 3D job, and have two teenagers, and I help, coach sports, and I do all kinds of different things. But my true calling that's part of my awakening. I realized is to speak my truth, and part of that is just to come forward and try to be the best version of myself I can be, while also trying to shine my light and transmute the darkness that I still am working through, that we're all working through here collectively. So yeah, thank you for having me be here.
Oh, of course, Andy. I always love what you share on the show. And I will say that I've interviewed Andy on my channel a couple of times, and he has really amazing story to share. Just a small part of his story, because I've heard much more of his story during our group meetings, because we're both local in the same area, and we have a support group where we meet on a monthly basis. And so he has so much to share on my YouTube channel. Just look him up, Andy, and our conversation will come up. And I also interview Robin on my channel, and she has a lot to share too on and what we had our conversation on my channel. So you can learn more about these amazing people right in front of you. So today is 10/10. Happy 10/10, everyone.
Yeah, 10/10. Yeah.
10/10.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. I wanted to share a video. Do I have it? Let me see here. Okay, so we're here to talk about Galactic Disclosure. Disclosure, I tried to say. And you know, where we're at, or where at least where we feel we're at, and we feel it's moving pretty quickly. There was a conference recently called the Galactic Spiritual Informers Conference, I think it's called, and put on by a lovely lady called Danny Henderson. And I'm going next year. I couldn't go this year. It was in Colorado because I was doing a retreat, but they had some amazing fleets of ships fly over. So it was similar to like Iseti, only, you know, and I'm sure Iseti's had fleets. I haven't seen the fleets yet when I go to Mount Adams, but that I can remember. It was amazing. And the really amazing part of it is Elena Danaan, who I do follow, and I have pretty much all her books, which just blew my mind, because a lot of her information that she shared after my own experiences confirmed my own experiences, which is why I follow her, because I do think she's connected, because she has a connection with the Galactic Federation of Worlds, which confirmed something for me that during a meditation where I saw an officer sitting in front of me when I asked what star beings am I working with, and here's this officer from something somewhere in a uniform sitting in front of me, and I didn't even know who Elena Danaan was. And when I found her, you know how spirit brings certain people to you and in situations to confirm what you're getting. She just showed up on my channel, in my feed, and she had a drawing of the gentleman that she is connected with, Commander Thorhan, which wasn't the being I saw, but it was the same freaking uniform that I saw in front of me. Yeah. So anyway, and I have lots of experiences of being in military uniforms. She asked the Federation to her contact, who is a commander of a fleet, to do flyovers at this conference, and they got video of it. And she was nervous, of course, but he said, "Don't worry, we'll do it. We'll do it for you," because it was close to Cheyenne Mountain, and apparently, according to her, there's a underground facility there, just like at Iseti, where the ships fly in and out at Mount Adams. And so I want to share that video if I could, because it's pretty cool. You want to see it?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
I'll mention this. One of the things that really validated was a beautiful validation for me from the universe, or our higher self, or our contacts up there, is to be out in nature, out, at night by yourself, sky watching, having some real heart-centered, whether it's meditation or conversation, even if you're with a group, about these type of experiences and just being open. And I just like up at East City, it happens, but now it happens anywhere I go, when, just about anywhere where there's not, city light pollution, where I can actually see the sky at night. If you go out, we're all connected. And I feel like even last night I went out, you ladies were talking about, you had done the beautiful prayers and meditation and everything for the hurricane and folks in Florida. I wasn't able to attend, but last night, of course, we knew it was going to hit. And so I went out just to my own backyard, had my feet grounded on the grass, which I need to do more of, was getting a little emotional, just expressing how grateful I am. I don't have to worry about a hurricane hitting my house tonight. All those different little gratitudes we take for granted in life. And I was really focused on gratitude. And I looked up, and I already know they're up there. So I'm like, all right, guys, please just send healing and loving energy to Florida. Please just surround everybody, all the children, all the people with love and protection and for the highest and best. And at that time, it was still like a category 5 or 4. And then sure enough, like you ladies, we kind of talked about this earlier, but you ladies, after your meditation, it drops down to a 3. And I know a lot of people around the world were sending love, and it was like really a team effort.
Yeah.
But it was so beautiful to see it go down. And here I'm looking, and I'm saying that in the sky, and I'm getting power ups, and I'm having a ship shoot by, like shooting
Wow.
star, and I'm getting like real time validation that, like, yes, keep doing that. Like, it makes a difference. Us being down here in the game and sending out our energy actually has such a butterfly effect.
Yeah.
In magnitude we don't even fully realize that. Like, yes, your positive energy, send it. Be grounded, be heart centered, and be grateful and be love. And so anyway, long story short, while you were pulling up the video, I just wanted to say I was seeing stuff last night just doing that.
Cool.
That's super cool.
I'm sure there was a lot of activity during hurricanes and things like that. And when you call them in, why wouldn't they show up, especially when we're connected?
Yeah. They hear us.
Yes, they do. All right, let me see here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
See it? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So they'll show a video too. So dramatic. Can you hear it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even see the other one. And then there's that one. Oh, what is that? It's a bird. Oh, wow. Oh, that's mine.
So they said that was a TR3B. It was from the Alliance, not a UFO. I mean, not alien.
A triangle just passed by. Triangle shape. See it? Is it here now? No, I still see it. It's turning. Yeah. Thoran said 3 ships, so that was.
There's the Dipper, Big Dipper.
Michael's right.
There's going to be some fleets coming there.
Now it's a fleet flying together, guys. Do you see where we're pointing the laser? There's a fleet flying together. They look like birds. They're not birds. They flag. Did you guys see that? Yes. I have this. That's amazing. They're going to turn around and come back. Get your phones ready, you beautiful beings.
Where? Where? It's not over. Oh.
Everybody. Cool. Oh wow, that was super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Where are they?
Yeah, we're doing formations for him. That's funny.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Girls don't have lights and don't flashlights, so
Oh, they're curving around. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the second one.
I'm honestly not seeing these with my naked eye. Where? Oh.
Another fleet, or else it was the same ones that came around.
Came back around.
Yeah.
oh my god, that's not girls. You see them on the right? They're flashing their lights. That's a real show.
That's super fun.
So yeah, that was pretty cool.
So we're all,
Absolutely.
are we all going next year then?
We're all
Yeah,
going
I
next
wanna go.
year. Yes.
Okay.
This is the second one they've had, I believe, and they always have it around September, October, and it seems to be always around my retreat that I have every year. So this year I'm scheduling my retreat in a very different time.
Cool.
You're welcome. Who is it? Ziptar? You're welcome. Yes, I thought that was really cool. What's really cool about it is she asked them for them to come, and this, I feel like this confirms her connection with Thorhan, because she gets slammed really bad. I mean, I don't agree with some of the things she says. Not very much that I don't agree with, but yeah, when she confirms my own personal experiences, that's kind of hard to deny. Yeah. I know
Yeah.
she has kind of a bad view on channeling, but I think she had a bad experience or something. But anyway, as long as we use our discernment and only connect with higher beings, then we'll be fine. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I've learned in the UFO spirituality community, there's a lot of people who will come out, and I learned this for me, SETI. There's a lot of people I met that like resonated with experiences I had and validated things for me, and then some I just hadn't experienced that, or maybe had a different view on it or belief from what I'd experienced. But that said, I mean, there's a connection there, that all the people are there, and I think just half of it is probably her connection to Thorhan. Maybe half of it's, there was 100 people standing there, all with intention to look up and see something together, and we're all co-creators. And if I can manifest this by myself going up outside at night, what could we all do? High frequency, excited. I mean, this is a time with the giant supernova, the explosions, the class X, whatever flares coming off the sun. Well, I think all that light energy is hitting the planet, and it's accelerating everything and changing everything, our DNA, our connections, like we're coming online more, I think, with the fact that like, oh yeah, part of me's down here, part of me's at various levels up there. And, you know, because we're all connected to source, God, at some level. And as we
Right.
make those connections, I think, and we come together, like-minded people, I think that we can do magical things. I mean, really
Totally.
magical.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Because we are magic.
Yeah. Guardians of magic.
Right?
And we're all one. So to think that what you're seeing up in the sky is not connected to us. I mean, we're all one. We're just down here, and they're up there helping us down here to awaken and know our missions and go through and push the agenda forward. I believe that we've had many times on this earth life where we've had to push the agenda forward of the benevolent, of the good. And so we have strong representatives that a lot of them gave their lives too, you know, like Akhenaten, things like that, that they're there to make a change, Jesus Christ, Sananda, to make a change and push the agenda forward. So, and I'm sure there's ships, you know, they've painted ships in like what, 1400s, you know, in the, when I went to the Louvre, it was amazing to see, like, if you really look at some of this artwork, you see, is that a UFO in there? Or, you know, just something different in there. I saw a Sasquatch in one painting and I went, that's a Sasquatch. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, it's there and it's just, I think we forgot about it for a while and now we're kind of regaining it.
Yeah, I think that it's been taken out of our consciousness, been removed. You know, we've been mind wiped, basically. Yeah. And when we look at those paintings, we aren't able to see it because we don't have it in our awareness.
Yeah. You just look at it and go, oh, that's a creepy looking thing. And you move on.
Yeah. Even if we're able to see it, because it's hard to see something we don't have any memory of. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So when we tap into the memory of it with everything that we're connecting to now, then that's when it comes up for we are able to actually see it and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed that. How did I miss that before?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I'm so interested all the time about childhood because for me, I feel like so much happened during my childhood, especially when you start talking about the 20 and back stuff, where I was like taken without a body, wouldn't have these other experiences, some very negative and some more benevolent and positive. And so for me, like every time I go to these memories that I have, I don't know if it's a dreamlike state. I don't know if it's a real thing in the program, but I'm with these beings and I'm taken up to this realm. And I think I've mentioned this before in your show, Sharon, that I'm in this like octagon or hexagon shaped room and my guides are standing behind me. And there's almost a conveyor belt of different representative beings that are coming in front of me for about 5 to 10 seconds so I can visually see them, just process, oh my God, there's something that looks like that, let alone the different energies they have, benevolent or different like loving frequency or some, you know, I mean, there's a spectrum, right? And so I'm feeling stuff and looking at stuff. And I felt like a lot of us who had experiences or like, I'm like, why did that happen? And I'm like, I think I was being prepared. We were like to have some of these experiences later in life, so I wouldn't freak out when I was standing there and I came to from like a daze or a lucid dream, and there's an actual being standing in front of me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because I've had that happen so many times, and sometimes honestly, I kind of reflectively panic, and I have to go back to like, I hear this voice on my head telling me to focus on your breathing. Breathe out of your nose. Because I start holding my breath when I get nervous. And then I start amplifying into like a fear-based thing instead of like being calm.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I'm just full circle. I'm interested in you ladies because now we're talking about different beings and connecting with different parts of ourselves. I'm interested in some of more of your experiences, especially in childhood. Because for me, that's where so many of those first memories happened of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you a story. When we lived in California in Glendale, and I was adopted, and so I kept telling my parents I kept seeing people in my room, and I was like 3. And it got so disturbing to them that my dad bolted my windows shut, and the back screen door, he put this like nail thing in it so no one can open it. And it really bothered them because I kept saying, there's people that I see in my room. And I don't recollect who they were, but something always scared me was a round circle would shine up on the ceiling. And I was always scared when I saw that. I would always hide under my covers. So that meant something too. So anyway,
like an orb.
Yeah, it was like an orb, but it was small and it grew big, and then I would just hide.
Oh, maybe a portal or something. A portal opening. Yeah. Wow. Well, recently I had a out of body experience where I was on some kind of ship or something with green beans. I've never seen these beans before. I've seen green beans before, yes, and this isn't the first time, but these were different. I've seen the luminous green. I mean, they're just. It was human. The one I saw before, he was human, but he had a bald head and he was bright green, almost neon green, and he had concave head, like this part right here. And at the time, I believe I was an avatar like him, because I was I was doing something because I'm in this life, right? And I'm just bringing back the memory, bits and pieces of the memory. But I remember feeling my head, and I said to the people that there's something wrong with my head. I had a bald head, and there was something wrong with it because it was caved in. Yeah. And I'm like, and they're looking at me like, what is wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with your head. It was
super funny.
It was concave on both sides. And I'm like, no, look at my head. But I was just like them. But those were different green beans that I saw 2 or 3 days ago in an out of body. They were green, very tall. And let me know if you've seen them, either one of you or anybody that's watching in the audience. And they were human. The green is
was their head wider at the top?
They were wearing hats. They all had a hat on. It was kind of and it was kind of pointed like that, or maybe it was their head and I was just seeing it as a hat, but it was green too, and they had heavy clothing on.
But this was not like their. Well, I don't know. I did it black and white, but he concaves right in here.
Okay, that was the other one. Yeah. The ones that I saw in the last couple of days, they were different. They were a different green color, darker green. I mean green, but not the bright green. And they had these hat things on, and they were showing me technology. They were working, and they were very tall, and they were working on something that was anti-gravity. It was some kind of, it looked, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 feet long, and it was floating in front of us. And they were showing me how we were going to be using it on Earth. But I don't remember, of course, what it was about. It's in my memory bank somewhere.
Was it a pod? Was it like a pod?
Well, it was long this way, like a cylinder.
Okay.
It had a pointed end at the top and pointed end at the bottom, and it was he was doing something with some kind of a tool. And I was asking him, okay, well, what's this and what's that and what's this? And he was showing me what it was. And then I was talking to a female, much smaller female, and she was doing something with another electronic or device. And I was asking her about their culture and where they were from. And I asked her what planet they were from. And she told me, and it started with a P. uh, Pagora or Panera or something. It was, and I heard it. I actually repeated it when I was there, but I couldn't, couldn't how that goes. I didn't bring it back, but it was something like that. So, Robert, if any of that sounds familiar, let me know. And I asked her how old she was, because she actually almost looked like a child. And she said, I said in cycles, because you probably don't have years like we do. And she said she was 35 cycles, but they live a lot longer. She said she was childlike, but they live a lot longer. But she was some kind of a technician, engineer kind of person at that age. Yeah. It was pretty cool. I don't know who they were.
The intelligence of, because if people on here don't know that I've written in books on species. So this is my second one now. That's the first one. And so it's always, I love to channel different species because like these guys are like super high intelligence. And so I had a dream with a species like this. He had the type of head like this.
What page is he on? Is that the Jafakan?
It's the new one.
Okay.
The new book comes out October 17th. It's not out yet. But I was following, we were in a ship and there's a bunch of pods and there's a bunch of people in the pods. So in this vision that I had, and it went for football fields. I mean, it was just massive. And all these pods were kind of floating like what you're saying, but they weren't this way, but they're floating this way. And the where the head is, you could see, but it was a pod, and all these bodies were submerged in a liquid, like an ambionic fluid. But then there was a connection of the pod down to the ship, which kept, it was source, it kept it going. But all these people that were in these pods are down on this earth.
Oh my God, I was going to talk about that today.
So,
we are in stasis somewhere. We're in stasis.
Yeah. And so when he took me to me, I saw me. And so my soul is here, but my body, my real body is up there waiting for me to return and merge back together. And then I will continue on my duties. So, but it was just like forever. And so anyway, back to this, I get sidetracked.
Wait. Doesn't it make you think of Avatar?
Yeah, totally. Avatar is a documentary. So I have that on my list to talk about, Robin, because I remember waking up in a stasis pod in an out of body or in something, and 15 years ago or so, and I wake up in this stasis pod and I'm looking around and I see hundreds of other pods, and and I didn't even know what it was until I heard people starting to talk about it. And Elena Denon talks about that too. And I was that's crazy.
The reason that these were in ships and not on a planet is what I channeled was that we can't be too far away from our soul, because we still have this invisible string that comes out of us like umbilical cord and goes up to the heavens, but we can't be too far away from our body, and spirit can't be too far away. So wherever this ship is, it's either right outside our universe, up, in upper realms, but it's around us. Does that make sense?
Totally.
I've seen something very similar. My in March of this year, my brother-in-law and then a really close friend, within just a matter of days of each other, both passed away unexpectedly. And that next week we already had a trip planned where we were going to Oahu as like a vacation we've been planning for a long time, and so we weren't sure we were going to go, and it was like, you know what, with everything going on, we actually need a vacation just to emotionally process this. And so I'm sitting on the beach one morning and have my feet grounded. Because I'm used to getting up West Coast time is 3 hours later. So it's like, 5 a.m. Hawaii time. I'm sitting on the beach by myself. Nobody's out there yet. And I had this moment where I was in meditation, and I kind of shifted up, and kind of, I guess, loosely in my meditation Zen moment, I kind of astral body floated up, and I literally saw ships just parked next to each other. Almost, I literally got the feeling like one of those houseboat parties where like everybody's boat connects to everybody else's boat out on the water. It was like all these ships were like next to each other, like bobbing like up there. And literally, I all of a sudden was back in a ship. I don't know if it was my ship, somebody else's ship, and I see my brother-in-law and I see my friend.
Oh, wow.
And they were both there to let us know that we were okay and that the whole thing had been planned.
Yeah.
And so I just had this moment where I'm like, oh. And then I came to, and I was sitting on the beach, and I was just like, they both came and showed me they were totally fine.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to be like a rock for different parts of the family and friend groups, because I have the understanding to know they were just right there. They literally weren't away at all.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that everybody has this duty. It's just, certain people are in pods. Not everybody. People ascend and go to the heavens. There's just all different levels everybody is at. That is really cool. Well, let me finish my story. I have to tell you
I'm sorry. I totally interrupted you. I was going to say finish.
No. We're going to bring this full circle. Okay, so anyway, this guy is walking me around, shows me my body. And then he takes me up this swirly staircase that's metal and up to like a perch where I can see everything, all the pods. You just see it forever. And then as we turned and came down, he was ahead of me, and I was looking at his head. So you're going to like this. I was looking at his head because his head intrigued me. And I went like this. I went, I started touching his head. And it was like sponge. It was like spongy.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, "Are you quite done?" I go,
oh, polite like too, huh?
Yeah. he tolerated me doing that, but I had to touch his head, and it just shocked me. I'll never forget how it was like a sponge. It wasn't hard.
If I've had an exact similar, not same, but similar experience with one of my guides. I was like, could you just stand there and let me touch? I was so amazed. And it felt like a dolphin. I don't know if you've ever felt, it was literally like a dolphin's skin is what this guy felt like.
I've had that a lot. A lot of their skins is like a dolphin. Whale, dolphin.
Is that their real skin, or is that a covering? Do you know?
I think it's their real skin, because I think, and we've talked about this, I talk about it a little bit in my books, is a lot of times too when you're in space, it's very drying, all the components of space, and so their skins develop to protect their insides, and then your mermaids are dolphin, kind of more of a dolphin feeling too than skin. And I do have a mermaid section. I did a mermaid show.
Awesome. So what type of being is he? What's his?
I have to read his name because it was a hard name to.
So he's not like a Jaffakan, because you have the Jaffakan in your.
Yeah, Jaffakan is amazing. They are. I'm very close to the Jaffakan race.
Okay.
Hold on, but this guy is totally different. Oh, I think it's 53. Oh, here we are. His name is Foret, and he is Quitiet species leader, and they are, let's see, and they say they only reside on one planet, and they say we are small, and what they mean is small, not small in stature, but small in numbers. We do not have a language. We communicate through telepathy. There are only 1,000 of us, so we must be protected. So most of the species that I channel are protected by the Galactic and the Federations. And so because they are they're not warring, and so they can be taken over very quickly. We have joined the Federation and the Blue Star. We work with them by means of intelligence, even though we are long distance away. So it's a pretty distant planet that they're from. Let's see. It says, even my universe. So this was very interesting. They talked about Okay, so let's bounce over to nuclear war. So he brings up that if we destroy our planet, it affects them. He
Sure.
says you don't really realize how if you destroy your planet, you are really going to put a ripple effect through all these universes. And so that's what he starts talking about, is that even my universe is affected by yours. You have no idea how your universe impacts thousands of others. If your Earth is somehow destroyed, it could destroy an entire universe.
Yeah, that's not going to happen though.
No,
I
no, no.
understand that. I understand that they're not. That's just not going to happen.
Well, no, that's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're all here.
That's right.
We're the
Yeah.
warriors to take our planet back and make it successful.
Yes. That's awesome. So he came from another universe to
Yes.
communicate through you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes so what I do when I have my YouTube channel I channel on. I do live channeling sometimes, but what I normally do when I write a book is I channel into a recorder, and then I send it over to my twin. I call him my twin, Michael, my best friend. And then he edits it, and then he puts it into the book. So it takes teamwork. I'm not doing it alone. I would never have these books if I didn't have him. He is amazing, and he works really, really hard on my books.
Nice.
So,
And his name just happens to be Michael.
Michael.
Michael, yes. And Michael, like Michael the Archangel, yes.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I thanks for sharing that, Robin. I wanted to share some technology that we have that we might not even know we have, but I was listening to Michael Sala, and these are the people that go to the Galactic Spiritual Informers place conferences. Michael Sala, Lena Denon, JP, all the people that have memory like us of interacting with ETs, like you too, Andy, where you remember the space programs. These people remember, Tony Rodriguez and those people that remember, have memory. Memory is everything. And when we work on our memory, we're able to dive in deeper and remember stuff. Remember, we're able to remember stuff. Okay. So working on our memory is so important. And of course, we are in a epidemic of what are we going through, this epidemic of not having your memory of dementia? It's an epidemic.
Amnesia too, yeah.
Well, that too, but so many people, you never heard of people when I was younger. We didn't hear of people having dementia. It wasn't the thing. Now it's
old age.
I see. My understanding from like my QHHT sessions is a lot of people. I mean, there's certainly a genetic component to all of that, and stress, and nutrition, and body, and your environment, all those things. But it feels like a lot of those folks getting dementia or Alzheimer's, at some level, their soul is ready to leave, or they're ready to be done with their incarnation. They still have some work to do. That's kind of the message that I had come through a lot.
Makes
And
sense.
I believe that is because there's so much pressure right now on the planet. We're building up to this huge crescendo. We're getting the solar blasts. We're having the misinformation, disinformation, the mainstream news media, the chemicals in the water, the chemtrail, like all of the different things going on. I think a lot of people are tuning out. And if you haven't done some inner work, or don't have a real good support system in place, or frankly aren't a pretty high level old soul with strong connections up there that are fully supporting you down here, it feels like some of those folks are getting lost in the shuffle and getting kind of asleep or caught up in the matrix and all this stuff. And I think at some level, then I'm ready to be done. And then the Alzheimer's, the dementia, it's like at some level they've already are ready to leave. And that's, in my opinion, why more of it's happening.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that makes sense. But I do believe that our memory is being attacked. It's just, part of
the war, the spiritual war. Yeah.
The spiritual war. Yeah. And so, I mean, with all kinds of pharmaceuticals and our environment and the food
Okay,
and the
exactly.
poisons that are being,
Yeah.
the poisons and stuff. So, so memory is everything.
Yeah.
I found, I'm learning more and more every day. But anyway, so I found out from watching JP with Michael Solid that we actually have these muscle suits available where if we want to work out, he says we don't even have to work out, but it's some kind of electrical stimulation, a suit that you can put on and it works out your muscles. And I'm like, I'm all for that. Okay. But if you work out, do any kind of exercise, it even enhances your muscles even more, but it will help with keeping our muscles strong. That's longevity right there. And I looked up, and you can find them online. They're I forgot what they were called, but and then he was sharing, and I've seen this before too, where we'll have technology where we can see into and I've been told this before anyway, and we are, some of us can, but technology, we can see in between realms. We can see through this realm into another. And and there's also eye drops that you can use to like remove the veil, so to speak, and see into other realms.
Yeah. I wouldn't put anything in my eyes. No. No.
Robin,
what?
Do you have with your experiences, do you have memories of like secret space program type stuff, or being recruited when you're a little kid, or taken up on a ship, or any of these? I when you're talking about the muscle suits, like I remember I was used as like a super soldier, partly not just because I'm a big strong guy and my genetics and connections, but also for a big guy, I was a little more intuitive because of the divine feminine connection I had, and some of those other guides that were shining through, that were strong connections for me. And so, even though I wasn't the best soldier by any means, a lot of us were used and put in position because we were slightly telepathic, or from a security standpoint, we could tell when people were lying, or could feel the energy shift. And they would just have us there. Corey Good talks a lot about that. And so anyway, full circle, I'm curious about your childhood, because I know you have all the connections. I'm going to get the new book and read every new species that you've connected with. I can't wait. But I'm curious about the childhood, because I feel like I'm just curious what you have to say.
Well, it's very interesting because I haven't really talked too much about this, but being adopted, I was kept in the hospital for like a month, supposedly. Well, where I was born, there was a military base that supposedly held UFOs secretly. It's an underground base. And I started having some memory that I think I don't know for sure, but might have been taken to there as an infant and was there for a month. And they told my birth mother that I was fighting for my life. I almost died. I was, going to die. So I had to stay in this. But it was weird because it wasn't a real hospital that I was in. It was like this sanitarium hospital. It wasn't like a real thing. And so then I just kind of like disappeared and then reappeared, I think about a month and a half later, into foster care. And then I got healthy enough to supposedly to be adopted out, a couple more months after that. And it's interesting because I have rare genetic skin disorder, and I have these certain bumps on my skin and everything's only on one side of my body. And we've never been able to heal it. And so maybe experimentations I don't know any of this for sure, but I kind of have, I kind of don't want to go there because I think it'd be troubling for me to go there. But I think as an infant, there is something that happened.
I've heard of stories about ET babies being dropped off. Where, starseed babies or extraterrestrial babies that aren't
Tesla
born here. What?
Nakia
I
Tesla
do
was
my
one.
DNA, and I am by human people. I do have human.
No, not saying they're not human, but they're not. They don't live on the planet. You know, ship babies,
Yeah.
ship-born babies that are dropped off on the planet so that they can do their thing, and they weren't born here.
Yeah. There's missions. Yeah, we have to have all different kinds of beings and species.
Yep.
And I know I do believe when I saw my body on that ship, I was a Valkyrie, and I don't know if you know what a Valkyrie is.
Absolutely.
I remember being a Valkyrie.
I'm like a Valkyrie Warrior, and I do believe I'm highly connected to Michael the Archangel, which is weird that this man that I've connected to as my soul, twin soul, his name's Michael. And it was meant, you know, he is just like my best friend, and we're just like twins. We're like twins. You know, we think like our lives we're very different younger, but I think now is kind of in alignment that we kind of have the same focus and mission. And so we're just waiting to keep going. Just like all of you.
Go ahead, Andy.
When you said the Valkyrie, I mean, I didn't want to say this earlier because I don't want it to sound like ego, but I had like the secret space program, alien, human, hybrid, being in suits type stuff. And then I've had those higher dimensional ones. And I'll say this, 'cause I don't know if I've said this before. I felt like I was taken up really, really high, and I was seeing like different group consciousnesses that have been on the earth in the past. And I was seeing like the old kings of old. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like Lyran kings and queens and like all the way up. And then I'm taken up, and I'm pretty sure I was in front of the Elohim Council. And they're showing me past lifetimes and all these different things, kings and queens. And I at one point shift up higher, and I thought I was Thor. I mean, I'm fighting in a battle against demons. There's Valkyries around me. At one point I get surrounded, like I'm going to get outnumbered, and this group of Valkyries come in and are, like, have my back, and we take down this group. But this is like I don't know if dimensions matter, but I felt like this wasn't like 5th dimension or 6th dimension. This was like 12th dimension. This was like one step down from Michael, and we were fighting demons.
Yeah, you were a Legion Angel then. You were his Legion Angel. He has the legions of angels. And so Valkyries usually go in first before the battle starts. And if there's anybody that wants to be taken out, any spirit or anything, the Valkyries go and save any soul that wants to be saved before they're destroyed. And so that's our job, is to go in, take them out. And I've actually seen this, and I have this kind of like heart energy that was part of my weapon. It came out of my heart. So if someone, you know, that protected me. And then we would take them up. And once we took whoever wanted to be released, saying, I'm not fighting this battle, I want to go where you know. And so we take them out, and then the Legion Angels go in. And then we follow the Legion Angels, because then we can help protect your backs while you're in fight. And there's dragons. There's good dragons.
I've ridden a golden dragon into battle. I know it sounds crazy.
That to me.
And then I looked over, and I
the
know
whole
this is
audience is going, what the heck are they talking about?
And this is where it gets weird.
Probably
because
have their own memories. Yeah, if it's not my audience.
I've had like that type of stuff where it's like Nordic and angels and archangels and that type of. And then the very next scene, I look over, and like I'm with Krishna and Lord Shiva, and we're walking, and we're like, I had to go up and do this. I was doing this cosmic dance that caused this, because there was this like negative energy that come in, and the only way to do it was for me to go dance, because it brought so much joy when I was dancing. It literally blew this away. I mean, we could have shot it with a bomb and it wouldn't have done anything. But if we went up and laughed and danced, it literally dissolved.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Joy, I channel that all the time. You have to remember to have joy and laughter and fun. And that is the biggest thing that can destroy any evil, anything. Even depression, because depression to me is like just a dark energy that just gets us. So if you could bring joy and just watch a funny movie, look at some things that just start making you laugh, you can just break out. And you're right, it is a weapon. Joy is a weapon.
It was.
For years, yeah.
I was dancing so hard and so much that I made myself laugh at how ridiculous it was. And literally these things that were like giant, undestructible demons literally melted away.
Yeah.
And they just was like, pop. And then everyone came in and they were so happy I'd done so good. And I was like,
you did the
how
happy
ridiculous.
dance.
Like, I just thought it was hilarious. Like, this is how we won? Oh, my God. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is how we win. That is how we win. Totally. So I just want to share one experience that I had with wings. I also remembered I was a Valkyrie and had an out-of-body experience or a reality shift where I was riding my horse by flying through the skies. And one day I had a intuit to look at my shoulder blades. And I knew, and I had this profound sadness, deep sadness, that my wings were clipped. I knew that my wings came out of my shoulder blades, that there was a place there where my plasma wings had, that's where they come out. And I felt like they were clipped. And I had this really profound sadness because my wings were gone. I wanted my wings back.
So you realized this when your wings were clipped? Were you on the Earth plane or?
Yeah, it was a couple years ago when I was 3 or 4 years ago or something like that, where I was in the bathroom and just doing my thing for the day. And I don't know what made me think about it. You know, I'm constantly in some kind of reflection or some weird experiences. And I got this intuit to look at your shoulder blades, that your shoulder blades are very important, that we have. And Corey Good talks about this with the shoulder. There's something about somewhere in the shoulder blades where when he was in the SSP, the military people he worked with would put some kind of electrodes or something on his shoulder blades somewhere along there. It's like a strong intuitive place. There's a lot of energy that we are able to channel in and out of our shoulder blades. They're portals. It would make sense if we are able to sprout out plasma wings from our shoulder blades, because I had that memory. So I don't know if that was during a Valkyrie or an angel. Huh?
I wonder if that's, because in life, we hold a lot of stress between our shoulder blades. And I wonder if it helps that if that stress kind of mutes down the freedom of the plasma coming out. Does that make sense?
Makes total sense, because that's my worst stress area is my shoulder blades. Yours too?
You could just feel the knots in my shoulder blades. I think stress there.
I think a lot of us, because as you awaken, you realize how powerful we are and we remember some different aspects of ourselves. I feel like there's a little bit of responsibility. Like, I'm one of the people who should know better and should be working harder. And I think we kind of get that, like, the burden of responsibility and knowing. And so it's kind of the weight of the world on your shoulders type of a thing. And it kind of starts to weigh you down. Because I feel like my guides have shown me before, like, you're actually being way too hard on yourself and you're carrying a lot of other people's stuff for them. And you're really strong, but you don't need to do that. And in fact, they took me one time to my mom because I, behind the scenes, like, energetically been helping her because she had been struggling with healing and stuff. And they showed her I was like giving her my energy in a way, allowing her to siphon my energy. And that was actually pulling me down. And so, and again, that all came from, like, the root cause of that is I felt like I knew she was wounded when I came in. I'm supposed to help her. And then there was like, this isn't how we're helping. Like, this is, we can't do it this way anymore. She's got to learn to do her own work. You can support her, but you can't do it for her.
Right.
And so anyway,
is that actually, it takes away their free will, so to speak, where their life plan, where their healing journey, if we're doing it for them, sort of doing it for them. Yeah.
Enabling them. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's do some card readings. This is an awesome conversation. We could talk about this for so long.
I know. How much time do you got?
We've got 30 minutes. Yeah, I know, right?
Okay.
About that. So if anyone would like a card reading, let us know. And while we're waiting, I need to go get the cord for my PC so it doesn't
I
die.
have to plug mine in already. Also, too, Andy, about the super soldier, I channeled them a little bit in this new book because do you know Super Soldier Talk, James Rink?
Yeah, I know. James, I know who he is.
Yeah, and so I did a session for him, a channeling session, and and so he had me on his show, and I brought in Akhenaten and Pleiadian Commander. And we told him of his history and how a lot of you guys that are down here, the super soldiers that are down on this planet at this time, that you had to work hard to release all that bad mojo and training. And with him, James was one of the most ruthless super soldiers, commanders. And so we were after him, Valkyries, Legion Angels. We found him and we were going to take him and his planet out. And when I remember when I saw him, I froze because I knew him. I could see part of his face, and I said I knew him. And so I didn't allow them to take him out. And so they took him onto a ship, and the Pleiadian and I think it was the Lemurian Condor in my book. They interrogated him. So they said, if we can bring the human part back of these super soldiers, then they can be remodified, and then we need to bring them down upon this earth to, help when we need it and to help their mojo. And so what they did is they just brought in all his memories of goodness of who he was. And so there's no emotion. And I remember I was standing there and they showed his family up before the wars in heaven. I mean, it went all the way back to the wars in heaven and who he was. And so I don't think he'd mind me telling you about this because we talked about it on his show. So when he saw his family, he shed a tear. And I remember I reached over and I caught it. And I said, now we know he can be saved, pretty much.
Yeah.
Let's get him going. And I go, he's going to be a very prominent person upon this earth because he needs to help others. Those people that are kind of lost with a super soldier, and a lot of people get into the negative part of their soul with that and just want to bring out those awful, horrible memories. And I did a reading for a girl that was going through that, and I just really turned her, and it really helped her, I think, a lot to see the really goodness of her, and that you can break through all that negative, evil part of the super soldier program, because it breaks you, it breaks your soul, and it reforms you. So,
it's funny. I have a memory of being taken up, and I actually believe it's on like an Andromedan ship. These Andromedan healers had come in to heal us because so much bad had happened.
Yeah.
And
Every avenue to get you guys to turn around, and so you were successful because you're here. If you weren't successful, you wouldn't be here. So.
I was told by Arcturian beings, I believe it was, that that a lot of us choose to be in that program or in some kind of a program because they needed insiders. We needed to, because they couldn't break the program from the outside. And they couldn't, and they also couldn't violate free will. And so, they trick us into agreeing with this stuff, I'm sure. But yeah, so that we were in the insiders, so they could see through us that I am a
I see what you're
you know,
saying.
the recorder, basically the recorder. Yeah.
Well, and I've gotten so many times the analogy of
The spy. Yes.
You're a spy.
spy. Yes.
Inside
I
spy.
was thinking it's like one of the, you know, the police officers who are on like the gang unit and they have to infiltrate the gang. Yeah. Like, so like you end up having to like look like one of them and be bad like one of them so that you have the intel.
Yep.
But then you end up doing bad stuff that actually does like bring your soul down a level. And what's really interesting is I've had a really powerful session last year with a guy, and it came through, kind of validated some experiences I had that my current son, my biological son now, in this past slot, in a past higher life, you know, our paths had crossed, and he was a very high, old, you know, powerful soul, and he was almost like assigned to me to heal me during this experience, because it was taking my energy down so low that like the good guy sent in a really good guy to keep recharging me. Otherwise I would have gone all the way, you know. It wouldn't have been able to break out of it, kind of. But even then it wasn't easy by any means. And honestly, I feel like Archangel Michael saved my life multiple times.
Probably has. Yep. You probably served with him much.
You know, I was told that beings who came here, the star beings who came here, I mean, all of us are, I kind of feel, are pretty much star beings in some way, but that came here to infiltrate the dark, right? And that maybe were forced to do dark things, that their karma is wiped because of what they had to deal with. So there's nothing, you know, that there's no karmic repercussion is what I understand from something like that.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think karma is for everybody, to be honest with you. I don't think everybody is down here for a karmic path. I think some people are down here they have a mission to do.
Oh, right. Absolutely. And I don't know what percentage.
I think that's what they were talking about was there's no repercussion on being forced to do something that, you know, that negative stuff like you were talking about, Andy. And,
yeah. Because go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. On the same thing, I was also having memories. I think they came up because they needed to be healed from. Have you heard of like the Orion Black League? Have you guys heard of it?
Yes.
Well, this was the idea. Like during Orion, when things were really bad, it kind of like souls kind of got stuck during the Orion Wars, reincarnating over and over and over and couldn't get off.
You mean like us?
That same type of thing. The same type of thing happened, and it was such a negative hold on the planet. And some of the benevolent beings kind of started playing tit for tat. It was really hard to just stay pure love and get off. And so some of us, even back then, like I was part of, I believe, a group that we're at wit's end, and so we started doing bad things to the bad guys, which also brought down our vibe. And so I had it's just hard to put into words, but like the images I have, the emotions I have, and the things I've seen along that kind of resonate. Honestly, like almost like a carryover from like the Secret Soldier type stuff. Yeah. I think that there's a connection to the Orion Wars and the Secret Space program and everything that's going on now, for sure.
I understand that the Black League has, and those were the good guys, right?
That's what I mean. Yeah, we were the good guys, and we were really hard-assed, but then I remember getting to a point where it was like, should we kill their people? And I was like, yes, we should. And other people didn't think we should. But I had kind of gotten to wit's end, and I was ready to fight fire with fire, which I learned isn't always the best thing.
Yeah.
You know what you remind me of? Andy, you remind me of a Viking.
Yeah, doesn't totally.
You're a Viking. You're a Viking warrior.
Yeah.
He's Thor.
Yeah.
But I understand right? I understand the Black League has hidden ships around the planet and other planets in our galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That are being unearthed now in these times, to be unearthed during these times.
Yeah. Do you have, Robin, experience with the Mintakans? from the Orion constellation. I know people, there's so much negative from over there, but on Orion's belt, one of the 3 stars on the belt is Mintaka. And I have they're almost like aquatic kind of little beings. And one of my guides, I feel like, who was benevolent, who fought against, James Gilliland talks about this a lot at ESETI, that kind of push back in the Orion Wars, the good guys fighting against the negative regressive groups. And he was on a 5 or 6D council during those wars. And so I've connected to him and have a whole bunch of memories come back about all that stuff. That's actually when I manifest writing my book, and you ladies are so awesome watching you do it.
Great.
Yeah, well, this is what I want to talk about, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Orion, but I think I see it a little bit differently. So it might be in a different phase that I see it, that I've channeled. No, but I don't see it as a negative. I see the ones I connected to are very positive. Yeah. Very positive.
But they were overtaken by negatives. I believe their planet was destroyed, wasn't it?
I believe, yes. Yeah. And I think there was more than one planet, but the main planet was.
Yeah.
The aquatic planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. From what I understand.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, I don't see anybody who wants to reading. All right. Well, we can just talk about star beings. Actually, let me pull a card from my new Pleiadian Oracle.
Ooh.
Awesome.
New Pleiadian Oracle. I've been using it and I really love it. I've had it about a week now. Who would like a card?
That one to me.
Robin.
No one else wants. Oh, no.
I know.
We have someone. We have someone. I have to give
right. So let me pull Robin's card first.
Oh, okay.
Then Zifter, I'll pull yours. Oh no, then Robin can pull one. We'll take turns.
Okay.
Okay. Pleiadian Oracle. Number 17, it's 5th dimensional access. And the number is 17. Q. Very important number.
Love it.
Q, yeah. Very important letter, very important number.
That's what I thought when your book's coming out on 10/17.
We're doing for the purpose that it's a full moon, and it's super moon, and so that means that the moon will be closest to the Earth during this time, and so we're going to draw on that energy. I'm going to my YouTube channel is called the Robin Hyatt the Blue Star, and so I'm going to be doing a live show 7 o'clock, I think, East Mountain Time, and we're going to do giveaways, and I'll give away a book and do some stuff, so it'll be fun. And so come visit me, and we'll get the ball rolling. This book is just the first one was amazing. I actually thought of it as my baby. I put it next to me in my bed. Sorry guys, but I slept with my book. I mean, that's how important this book was to me, that I wanted it by me all the time. And now I have another book coming out. So, and this picture, my twin did this picture. So this is like a Valkyrie. Vejba is the name. And then this is a bean, a benevolent bean. And then with the pyramid in the back on
nice.
The planet.
That's really nice.
So it has a line through it because it's a proof book. So it won't have that line through it when it comes.
So your card, the short meaning, is a time of prosperity, infinity, psychic powers for you.
Yay!
Star guidance and risk taking. Also, new cycles and mastery is rising.
Ooh, like that.
Yeah, that you're already in the 5th dimension, which you probably know.
Yeah.
So it's just confirming that for you, which you didn't need.
But I'll take the prosperity that goes with that 5th dimension.
Right? Yeah, and you're soaring. the birds have you soaring even
Oh,
higher.
are those parrots? Oh, I love parrots.
Yes. Yeah.
Love parrots. Awesome.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, Ziftar. Go ahead, Robin.
Well, let's both do one because this is a new deck to me. So I'm gonna kind of do a card, but then I'm gonna do an intuitive. So thank you, Liftar. If you have a question, we could probably answer a question too. So who am I doing? Rebecca?
Ziftar.
Ziptar.
Yeah, have he or she
Oh.
up on the screen. I don't know.
So this deck
Yeah.
that I'm using, this is actually just a brand new deck. And it's called the Tree of Life.
Nice.
So you got a very interesting card. It's called Kether, the Crown, Source, Point, and Attainment.
Mhm.
And give me just a second. So on this, I'm going into intuitive on this. So, and it's white and blue, which is your energy, your soft soul. And you kind of have, this is very interesting on this card. There's a swan on one side of his shoulder, and then there's an eagle on the other side.
Wow.
Swan is softness, kindness, empathy, and then you got your soaring eagle, which is your strength, your manhood, and you're a very important figure. You I think you come from an Ashtar system, and you were propelled here upon Earth to you're here to designate. I don't know who's around you, but you're here to designate a group to push the agenda forward. You're a leader. You're a source leader, but you're a good leader because you have the strength and then you have the kindness, which makes the best leader ever. So you have it in you. I don't know if you're using it, but you have it in you. So you might want to start focusing on using your voice and your intelligence and gathering your tribe.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Okay, Andy, I'm going to pick a Lyran card for you, and then we'll do Rebecca.
All right.
Or do you want the Pleiadian? I know you love the Lyrans.
I love the Lyrans, but because it's a new deck, let's switch it up. Let's do a Pleiadian.
All right.
Half of us here are Pleiadian oracles, so let's see what it says.
Yes, we are, aren't we? We are.
At some level,
I definitely remember my Pleiadian peeps. I write about them in my book.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And aren't you writing another book too?
I am.
Sharon?
Yes, I am.
I can't wait.
And it's, yeah, I know, me too.
And
It'll
Andy,
be next year.
Get on it. Get on it, Andy.
I know.
Andy.
I wanna
Okay.
read it.
Sacred Geometrics.
Oh, beautiful. That's
Wow.
a beautiful synchronicity.
Is it? Nice.
Yeah, I talk about sacred geometry all the time. Yeah.
And the number is 37.
Nice. Oh, well, that adds up to a 10. And today's
It
day
does.
10.
I was say that, and then a win.
Yes.
That's so funny. I was going to say that.
Okay, it says the card of sacred geometrics arrives when your star family of light is requesting for you to explore more deeply into the foundation of all matter. So you've got some homework.
Okay.
Foundation
Now
going.
is a good time to look into sacred geometrics and activate even fully your scientific mind to understand at the core level this mathematical perfection of the universe. You know, I've been wanting to do that so much. You know, the more you know, the more you want to know, right?
Yeah.
This card may also relate for you to look into the numbers of a contract. Use logic to solve a problem. Pay attention to certain numbers, which you already do.
All the time.
Yeah. And it says that unity codes and common sense are your friends.
Unity codes,
Unity
Love it.
codes. So it's
common
Yeah.
sense.
common
So
sense.
I literally like say affirmations every morning, and part of my morning routine is, I say clearing, I say blessing for the world, different things I'm trying to manifest in my life, and a lot of the I am, those type of statements and stuff. And I've really then I probably a year or two ago, like during COVID, I just fully started saying, I have the cheat codes to life. I have the God source codes. I have the 144 codes. And I would just
Nice.
list off all these 888 codes, the 444 codes, blah, blah, blah. And I can tell you, my life has accelerated in terms of being able to manifest things.
Mhm.
Nice.
And because I really get the sense that our highest level self, this is a video game training program. And I just had to look at it like that. I just had to forget the ETs, forget the angels, forget any of it. I'm in a video game and I have the cheat codes, and I'm God in my own dream and my own creation, and I'll make whatever I want. And it's not from a place of ego, it's from a place of acknowledging I'm divine. And this
Mhm.
whole program is made us to not feel divine.
Mhm.
And so I
Yes.
just keep saying, so you literally saying the unity codes is a reminder to me, Andy, it's not all about you. Remember, you're there to help everyone. So I need to get into the, I'm one with the divine unity codes. I'm one with the highest and best timeline. I'm one with unconditional love, spreading with ease and grace upon the planet. Just like those type of things. Where it's because I've already gotten pretty good at getting what I need or would
Yeah.
like. And now it's like, okay, we know you can do this. You're down here to do this for everybody's benefit.
Yeah, and
And
you can, and what I'm getting as you're talking is using geometric, sacred geometry, sacred geometrics, and unity codes to
Mhm.
that you can teach that. You can do that
Mhm.
and help people do that in their own life by
Mhm.
seeing through the veil and seeing the geometry that we are, the geometrics that we are.
Where everything is coded and sequenced. Everything,
Right.
Yeah.
every movement, every breath, everything. And
I
I
was
just
in
Andy needs to do that happy dance.
Yeah.
Bring that joy to everybody.
Yeah.
right,
I-
and I was in a plant medicine journey, and I write about this in my book too, where I saw my matrix. I saw the grid
Mhm.
of my energetic body, and it was so beautiful. And I could
Mhm.
see as I was breathing, I could see it move in and out, and I was mesmerized by how beautiful my energetic grid was around me, my matrix. And I realized I can work with this in some way. And yeah, that's what we're moving to, is being able to see beyond the illusion,
Mhm.
see our own grid and work with our own grid
Yeah.
on a conscious level.
Yep.
Mhm.
And a lot of the in channelings that I've gotten lately is that we should be more advanced than we are. That we are not as advanced as they had hoped we would be. And I think it's because we have a certain society, that keeps us dumbed down and distracted. And
Distracted is huge.
it can keep
Distracted.
us imprisoned in what we see and have in our lives, and that can imprison us. And so that it's been very interesting that they've been kind of disappointed that they were hoping that we would be more advanced.
Who's
Now,
they?
it's like Ashtar is all the command systems. When they come down and look, they were just hoping that we would be farther along than we are in
Oh.
our evolution, not only of ourselves, but of advancement on Earth and technology, things like that.
Well, it's disappointing that they're disappointed.
Well, I mean, it's a scenario where I think we just need to. People just don't. I think the whole key to this life is mastering self. And so, if you can start just piece by piece, baby step by mastering self, then the whole world, the whole energy grid, everything will open up to you. And it's amazing too when you start doing that. Your choices are better. The people that come into your life are better. Things just are easier. Can I say that? It's easier.
Yep.
It's not perfect, but it's easier. But I think a lot of it too is that I've been getting is to master self. I think it's one of the hardest things that, even though we can be up there and have all this promise and all this intelligence and everything like that, we come down here and we have to work with this head and all these emotions, because I think with us being so intelligent, we didn't have all these emotions that we had to control and bring in. And so I think that's part of mastering yourself, is just aligning like the chakras and all that emotion. Does that make sense?
Right. Because we're experiencing something that we're not used to. We're originally from
it's hard
in the higher planes, and so it's like we came down here because it's like something we've never done before, and then so we're like, hey, we'll play that game.
We're buff. We can do this.
We can do it. It's different. It might be hard, but
I tell my guides, you feel invincible up there, and then you come down here and you're like, what the hell was I thinking?
I know. It's like, we didn't read the fine print. They didn't give us the fine print.
No, there is no fine print.
Yeah. I'll say this though, the way we experience time, going back to like the holodeck example, we're in a holodeck, and this is a training program at some level. I personally and my family, if my wife and kids were here, they'd be like, all right, Dad, timelines. We know timelines. Because I talk about timelines so much because I remember things from like, shit, I did this last time. I shouldn't do this time. Or, hey, this changed from what I thought. Like, I remembered seeing. Oh, guess I keep forgetting that, like, I need to express gratitude because I feel like I've been given, and all of us have been given, many opportunities. And a couple of times I feel like the whole game ended. We all got pulled up. Everyone saw what was going on. And like over half the people are like, oh man, I can't believe I did that bad. And then it was like, well, we're immortal. You guys want another chance? And we all went down and fell back into a matrix. And like, we're right back here, but we're making slightly different choices. We're like incrementally making progress.
Now, as long as we go up a little bit each time we come around, and we move a little bit further in, further in. Yeah.
Progress. We're making progress.
Yeah.
And again, they're looking at like, you have everything you need. Like if you guys just, but so many people distracted and wounded and like projecting and not wanting to do the inner work, because it gets a little scary when you start to realize, shit, I'm part of the problem. Like, do you know what I mean? Like my emotions, not being able to control all these different things. And some people can't face their shadow. It's scary.
Yeah. And to get out of it. To walk away from that shadow and all that. Because some people find that pain as a comfort, because they're so used to living in that they keep going back into it. They go out a little bit and get scared because that's all new ground. And then they go back into that comfort zone. And so that's baby step, but that's mastering yourself is just.
We love our comfort zones.
Yeah.
Yeshua taught me, do something every day to step outside your comfort zone that puts you outside your comfort zone. Doesn't matter what it is, but do something every day. And that causes expansion. Then you expand more and more and more. And it's so true. Definitely. We're living the movie Groundhog Day. We just can't remember. Yeah. So we're waking up to remembering that, but I've had that feeling for sure. Totally.
See, people have talked about that before with me, and they're like, well, Groundhog, that's depressing to me. We're stuck in this cycle and we're not doing this. And I'm like, no, God, the universe is so good. We're getting to go back and reperfect it and reperfect it and reperfect it.
It's another chance.
Because I feel like I've gotten up there and it was like, wow, like, look how amazing you are. Look at all your gifts and all the things you work through. Allow this to be
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, there's still this and this and this. They're like, you want to go back and try again? I was like, yeah. So here I am. And so it's like, it's not a punishment. We're not stuck. It's like literally the continual gift that keeps on giving. But it's all your perspective. And that
Right.
comes with, focusing on the good stuff and not getting
Yeah.
bogged down on the things that, don't make us feel whole and loving and supported and in connection.
Awareness is the
Right.
key.
Oh,
All right,
can I
we've got
tell
one
you
more
something
reading.
out of my comfort zone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's.
I hate spiders.
Oh,
I channeled a spider species, a giant spider
Wow.
species.
yeah.
I've seen them on Mars.
Yeah. And so
Yeah,
they're warring spiders. They help the benevolent war.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was hard because I'm like standing in the channeling looking up at this big spider. So that was out of my comfort zone.
Oh, I bet. I
You
actually
were
love
very brave,
spiders.
Robin.
Spiders are good. Yeah.
You
Do
did
you
it.
remember
That was
them, Andy?
amazing.
I remember seeing spiders like that before,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll not to change the subject, but like I was actually going to bring up earlier, I had a really vivid experience where me and my guides, it was like we're up on the ship and we're like going through, we're traveling somewhere and we're doing something and we pick up this signal of a group and we're trying to like, who is this? Who is this? We're trying to pinpoint who telepathically we were connected to and where they were located. And we end up like finding this planet and this realm, and there's essentially these giant like slugs that are like the size of like a hippopotamus. I mean, like really big.
Mm-hmm.
And they were telepathic. And I was having a full-on conversation like you or me with this slug, and I didn't know it was a slug. I thought it was somebody on another ship. And then we got there and there was these giant like slugs on this planet. And so anyway, you're talking about spiders, I'm talking about slugs. There's a lot out there.
Well, maybe a lot of things on this planet are replicas of things of other planets.
Definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely is right. All right, Robin, do you want to give Rebecca a reading? And then
Yes.
we'll then we
Did
can
Rebecca
close.
have a question or just she went away?
So she's still here. I mean, I don't know if she's still here, but let's put
Okay.
her up. Okay.
Rebecca. Rebecca. Ooh, pretty. This is Netzach Victory, Hope, Love, and Art.
Ooh,
That's
that is
beautiful.
great.
Isn't that
Yeah.
beautiful?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I hope Rebecca is artsy fartsy like me. This kind of reminds me of a goddess card, a Grecian goddess. And with the doves of peace. Also the swans, I want to say swans of mercy. This reminds me of to give yourself mercy, to lighten your load, and to bring forth your own attainment of love, and to love self before you love another. And then you'll have greater love in your life, especially if you have children. I feel if you bring this love force in you, your children will see the change in you and they will want to emulate you. And I see you have like leopards, you have a nice leopard and you have a angry leopard. And I think that's your turmoil in you, that you are experiencing like the good Rebecca and the bad Rebecca. And get rid of this angry one and start focusing on the serene one. You need to focus on mercy. You need to give yourself mercy. That's what I'm hearing.
The only thing I just kept having coming through, like I don't know if it was Mary or Mary Magdalene or Mother Mary's energy, but this pink feminine energy was coming in. And then that's right when you said if you're a mother, And then I was getting a really strong Archangel Raphael green healing. And so just like you have a whole bunch of support helping you to work through what you're going through right now.
Mm-hmm. And you got this. You got this, Rebecca.
Beautiful.
Nice, beautiful. Okay, I've pulled a card for the group, for all of us here.
Awesome.
Cosmic Unity, number 44.
44. Good number.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Isn't it? From the Pleiadians telling us we are there. Cosmic Unity. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. We are out of time.
That went fast. Wow.
I did
Thank you
it.
for
I
having
know.
us on.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us on. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Sharon.
Yeah, it was great.
Remember to dance and be joyful.
I'm going to start dancing in my house tonight.
Oh, if I don't dance every day, it's not if I don't do something like that and sing at the top of my lungs, it's not a good day. I can tell a difference. Dancing, singing, so important.
Absolutely.
I scare my cat sometimes, though.
You scare your cat when you dance and sing?
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing?
Okay. All right. So thank you everyone for being here, and we'll be back again next month, and we'll have some live shows in between. Have a full moon somewhere around the full moon, I think, show, but not on that day. Probably because and Robin has her thing.
Yeah, I will be on Robin Hyatt, the Blue Star, and I will be plugging my book and going through my book and giving away a book. And I'll give away a benevolent book. And I also am going to give away some divination rods. So these are divination rods that were made by a ghost hunter. And when it turns like that I know exactly who that is. So they helicopter for me. A lot of times they will cross like this as a yes, and it do a no. A no is there, and then we have hugs. So if it hugs you this way. So, and the helicopter is usually a guy that I've channeled Alon in my book, and he lets me know. And then a lot of times he'll point to my heart after he helicopters. So it's kind of fun to. You have to keep the white light around you because they can be maneuvered by other forces. But if you keep it in the white light, it's kind of nice to actually have something sustain so that you can see that they're talking to you. And it's yes and no answers. And I think that can also raise your vibration too by actually knowing they're there.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Thank
Beautiful.
you. And let's see here. Oh, don't forget my book. If you don't know, I wrote a book too, Awakened Soul.
It's a very good book. I still need to leave you a review.
Oh, thank you. That would be nice. Yes.
I'll do that this weekend. I'm not done with it yet, so I was waiting.
No. Yeah. Don't worry about it. But it's always nice. If you have read my book, a review would be very nice. It does help tremendously and boost our sales, boost the book in the rankings.
Yeah, the recognition for the book. Yeah, it helps us.
Yeah. And I want to know what people think for sure.
Yeah,
feel about the book. Okay. Well, take care, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Look up at the skies.